So no, contrary to popular belief, it's so I suppose thanks for turning up this morning, and we'll keep it as concise as possible. It was really just, as we said, an opportunity coming back off the summer, getting into the next module happens to be the away module in Barcelona, and because it's in IESE and because there's a lot packed into the few days, we just wanted to take the opportunity to kind of tee it up as well as possible for you. So what we'd like to do over the next kind of 20 minutes or so is to just take you through the itinerary and the program, and just to make sure that you're kind of up to speed in terms of what will happen and how best to prepare so that you get the best benefit out of it. So I'll just kick on with a few visuals. I'll just share screen there for a second, and we'll start, I think, with Claire. Just give us an intro to the some of the practical arrangements in terms of getting there and back.
Yeah, okay. So obviously everyone should have got their the recommended flight. That's the one that has the bus going in and out from the airport on the 2 days. And you will be getting like final logistics with the details of the hotel for anyone who is flying in at a different time, so that you can make your way to the hotel. We're staying in a place called Sant Cugat, which is about maybe 20 minutes outside Barcelona. It is just about 20 minutes from the business school as well. It's a little suburb outside Barcelona. While we are in Barcelona, the America's Cup is on, so it's very, very busy. So we're just a little bit outside Barcelona. But it is a town in itself, a small little town in itself. I was there in January myself at Women in Business, so a very pretty little town, and nice place. Nice restaurants and bars and things like that in it. So we'll go on Tuesday, as I said, fly out on Tuesday night and then depart on Wednesday morning at 7:45 to go to the university. We just have a few practical things with relation to the agenda. On the Wednesday evening, we go and do a cooking experience straight after college, straight after school. And it's a hands-on cooking experience, so this just basically for people to, you know, maybe bring a change of clothes if they want, flats, that kind of thing. Aileen McCann might be relevant for you. But basically it is a full-on cooking experience, so you do get aprons, but if you're wearing a jacket or, you know, like fancy pants or whatever like that, you don't want to ruin them. So just advise. Anyway, the heat as well in the evenings it's quite warm, and it'll be quite warm in the place as well. So like a t-shirt or whatever. Just like if you wanted to have something casual rather than just turning up there and thinking, oh God, I'm in my clothes and I'm supposed to be wearing to the university. So we do that on the first evening, and as I said, we go directly from the university, so we get there about 6:30 rather than just being in the bus the whole time. Then on Thursday morning, we go back to the university, leaving the hotel at 7:45 again. But we do return in the evening to the hotel before we go off to a different restaurant. We will be going through this later on, but there'll be time to change things like that there. It is a full-on 3-day module. So again, that's why the flight is so late home on the Friday. We did explain this, but just be ready that it is 3 full days. It's a very good program, really interactive, and you'll really enjoy it. But just the big thing is just like that on Tuesday evening before we go to have something to eat, we're leaving from the university directly there. So just kind of if you want to have something a little bit more cash or something to bring with you. And then on Friday evening you'll return on the bus then at 6 o'clock from the bus 6 o'clock from IESE to the airport, and then for anyone else who's staying on, we're on our own basically. But so the bus goes back to the airport on that evening at 6 o'clock directly from the airport, from the college. It'll take about 35 minutes, but there wasn't really much time to do anything else. It's too rushed, so you're better off just getting to the airport and kind of getting ready to head home. And that's from the practicality side of things. That's all I really have. But just it's as with civil business casual. So for the university, and that's about it. That's about it for me, Keith.
Okay, thanks, Claire.
Anyone any questions on that? Sorry, no.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, straightforward. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So I'll just go back then to slides for a second. So just give you an overview. We provide you with that sheet, which gives you obviously the full itinerary, and that we'll have everything for you after this meeting. So that's, as those of you who haven't been there before, that's the campus, the IESE campus in Barcelona. There's a north and south campus. It's a really impressive place. As soon as you step into it, you kind of really feel the kind of world-class nature of it. So I think it's going to be a great learning environment, and really enjoyable to be there. In terms of our what we'll be doing and who our professors will be, this is just a little overview, and then I'll mention the individual sessions. So we have global economics. So Pedro Videla is one of their star economists. He was actually in Dublin a few months ago and did a session with the IESE alumni here, which went in Workday, which was really well received. He's very popular. He's very good. Alejandro Moreno will be doing a couple of sessions all around self-leadership, and there's a couple of case studies to go with that. Maria Lazaras is with us for a couple of sessions. One is around high-performing teams. And then we have a lady called Liliana Cabal, who's a communications coach and actress and so on, who will be doing interactive sessions with us on communicating with impact. We also have Elena Rodskaya, who will be doing a module and a case study on marketing area, and Nino Vaccaro, who will be doing something on social entrepreneurship. We have a session on the future of leadership, and we also then have an interactive session on the Barcelona 92 experience, which I'll explain a bit further, and we'll be meeting there a bit of a sporting celebrity as part of that, Ruth Betia, who is a Olympic gold medalist in the high jump for Spain, and she's going to be part of that experience. She won it in Rio in 2016. So lots to look forward to. That's on the program as we were describing it there. So just to give you a sense of it, that mightn't be fully legible, but just on day one, we start with Pedro Videla and global economics, one session. We have some case preparation time. So what he's very good at is providing a really accessible understanding of the economic landscape globally, and how it impacts on local and international economies, and how it trends, and how things will impact on business. So he's always very entertaining and interesting. The case preparation is around, it's a Starbucks case, and it's all around delivering customer service, and the conundrum of how do you improve your customer satisfaction while driving sales and profits. So that's the next piece on that morning. Then after lunch, we will be going to the Olympic experience. So this is the Museum of the Olympics, which is beside the Olympic Stadium that was used in 1992. So we'll be on site. It's a fabulous kind of interactive museum with a lot of the history of the Olympics. But it's also the case study. There's an interactive case study which you'll be getting, which brings you through a very interesting thing around the challenges of the Barcelona 92 Olympics and the current America's Cup, which is taking place in Barcelona when we are there. So it's given we've just come out of the Paris Olympics and that the America's Cup is actually happening in Barcelona, it's all it should be very interesting and current. And essentially what that case is about is around strategic leadership, vision, and stakeholder buy-in, because there were huge challenges when they won the 92 Olympics in Barcelona, of how to make it, how to get buy-in from the city and give it a lasting legacy, both socially and economically and so on. So that was, there's a case all around that. And also the current challenges. Some of you might be, I'm sure you're aware of what's happening in Barcelona and other places in relation to a bit of a backlash against tourism and so on. So environmental issues and all of that. So the case, I think, will be very interesting, and it'll cover those topical areas from a leadership and stakeholder perspective. And then as a bonus, we will meet with this lady who seems very impressive. She is a high jump gold medalist from Rio for Spain. And her story, I mean, you can look it up, but she competed in a few Olympics. She came fourth in 2 Olympics in Beijing and in London, and then disappointed in a sense, retired, but came back out of retirement and won gold in Rio. So she's a sporting celebrity, if you like, in Spain, but she's also a very impressive lady who's a politician up in the Cantabrian region up in Santander, and is a member of their Olympic committee and so on. So it should be very interesting to get her insights as well around all of this. So that's our day, which is a very, should be an interesting and stimulating day. And then after that, as Claire said, we go to a fun activity, which is, it's called Cookie Teka. This is some of the group from last year doing it. So essentially it's like a team-based cooking activity. It's great crack, and it's a really enjoyable and relaxing evening, and that will round us off on that first day of the Wednesday. When we come back on the following day, we have some rich introductions at the start, and then we have a session in the morning around high-performing teams. Now, an interesting twist on this one is that one of the cases, there's a case that we're still waiting on, which we will send on as soon as we get it. But part of this session will be quite interactive, and it will be, we'll have a guest as part of it who is one of the leaders of these company of team of what they call castels, which are the human towers. So some of you may be aware of this, but this is a Catalan, it's part of their culture and tradition going back, I think, to the 18th century, where they build human towers. And it's a very public, it's done around the time of the fiestas, the big feasts. It's a very public exhibition. It's an amazing spectacle to see. And basically they build up a human tower. I think the record is 10 stories of 4 people, if you can imagine that. It's incredible when you see it in action. So using that as a reference point, the whole session will be around high-performing teams and how do you make things work. So that promises to be interesting. You never know, we may have to build our own tower as part of it. So be prepared. And then in the afternoon we've got Liliana Cabal, who is a communications coach, and she has she's preparing a session for you. So in the notes, what she is asking you to do in the notes it's not very heavy prep, but it's to look at 4 little YouTube videos from a communication point of view, see what you notice about how people are communicating. And also then she asked people to come with a reflection on some particular challenging interpersonal communication situations that you face or have faced in your workplace or in your environment. And what she does over 2 sessions then is to help us to optimize our communication style and see how we can improve how we come across and how we connect with those around us and so on. So it'll be interactive, it should be entertaining, it should be very beneficial for all of us to get involved in that. So that's on day 2, and then after that we go to a lovely restaurant called Can Travi Nu. Claire may like to say something on this because it's a favourite, it's a lovely spot.
Absolute favourite of mine. I've been a few times inside and out. It's absolutely beautiful. Weather permitting, we'll dine there in the garden. So it's an absolutely fabulous location. It's a real old house, maybe 18th century, just a little bit outside Barcelona as well. But a fabulous spot, and yeah, it's just a great place. I love it. So it was #1 choice for me. Better not be hyping it up too much in case it's rubbish. But it won't be rubbish. I'm only joking. It'll be great. But it's a fabulous place and dine outside, and you never know what might happen that evening as well. Maybe something extra, but we'll see. We'll see. It might be a surprise.
We'll leave that one hanging.
Yeah.
Very good. The following day, then we've rich introductions at the start, and then we have the sessions around self leadership. So there's 2 cases for that. Neither of them are particularly long, but they need to be. They're both short enough, but they need to be prepared around that. So both of them are how to gain trust and achieve organisational commitment. So very much around the leader as a way of how do you engage your people, looking at loyalty and community within an organisation as well, and then nurturing strategic leadership as well. There's a case around that. So those first 2 sessions up to lunch will be all around that self-leadership. After lunch, the session is around social entrepreneurship in the globalised world. So there's no prep required for this, but it'll be an interactive lecture. And essentially this will be looking at how do we integrate social and environmental concerns into our organisational dealings. So these are, very relevant for most of us these days. And it also chimes very much with that sort of idea of the themes running through all of the sessions, I suppose, better people, better organisations, and in this case, better society. And how do we help to make a positive impact in that regard? And the final session then is on the future of leadership. There is a case, an interactive case. So the interactive cases are nice because they contain video clips and other things. So rather than having to read through lots of pages, you actually get to see people speaking it, and you get a good sense of some graphics and so on of the case. But this is quite a fascinating one. It's around self-management in organisations, participative decision-making and employee engagement. And the interesting question that is posed with this case study is it possible to operate without a CEO? So you'll find that one an interesting one, I think, to consider. And then we'll have a red thread, and we'll finish up, and that's on day 3. So there's quite a lot, as you can see, over the 3 days. A lot of variety. We think there's a nice mix in terms of you're not overloaded with preparation, but it's really important that you do it well and that you bring your own thoughts and your own situation to the environment, because, as you know, that's where the richness will come in the discussions. But it's set up to be very interactive and very participative over the course of the 3 days. All of the readings and all the instructions that go with it will be put up on Connect this afternoon, so you'll be able to go in and get your class materials. And it's pretty straightforward. If you have any problems, let us know, but it's pretty straightforward. And you do click through to the interactive elements. And I don't think there's anything in particular, Claire, to be concerned about there.
It's basically just when you go to the end, if you're looking at it, if you're reading it online or on your laptop or iPad or whatever, you can click through there. It's at the end of the questions on both of them. Now, the links will also sit in the class materials tabs. I'll text them. But if you put it out in printed version, obviously, you can't get the links. So just be wary that if you print your readings, remember that there's 2 cases with interactive links that you must go through. All you do is you click the link, it brings you in, you put in your you put in your email address, and then just your name, and then go in and out of it as many times as you want. And they go through different sections. So you do kind of like level 1, level 2, level 3, but you have to go through them in consecutive order. But just be wary that if you get your readings, if someone prints out your readings on behalf of you, that there is 2 links to be clicked, which obviously you can't get that way. There is, at the end of the Basti's case, there is a PDF version of the case, which will also sit on class materials, but to be honest with you, it's much easier to go through it in the interactive way rather than just reading another case. So I'd advise you to do that, but it will be available on the class materials tab just as PDF. You want to print it off.
Yeah. So that one is good. The interactive is definitely good there, as you say. And the Barcelona 91 is all multimedia stuff, so videos and
you have to do it.
Yeah.
There's no other option. You must go through it. It's not long. That's the only thing. Those interactive cases are not long. It doesn't take ages to do them. So.
But they certainly maintain your attention, rather than just reading the page. It's very good. So
nice to have a different element of it. Now the only thing with these ones, guys, is there's no audio for any of these cases.
No.
So you have to read them. Sorry.
So there isn't, there isn't a lot really.
There isn't.
There's 6 in total.
Reading,
2 of them are interactive, and a couple of them are quite short.
They're short,
so there isn't a huge amount. We tried to get the balance right in terms of not overloading you with reading and making it as engaging as possible. So just to flick on then, conscious of time, one other thing to mention to you is that we're in the next couple of weeks, we'll just send you out a very simple little poll that you can do on your phone, a little survey. And what we thought would be useful would be to get you just to reflect on your leadership journey to date. So we'll ask you 10 straightforward dimensions of leadership, things like people management or strategic thinking or whatever, and simply ask you to reflect on where do you think you are on the scale of 1 to 10? Where were you at the start of the program, and where do you feel you are now? So it's just a little device which we thought might be helpful, bit of feedback to get you to reflect a bit on that, and also to get you to think about, well, okay, for the second half of the program, where am I making most progress? Where do I feel I've a bit of ground to make up, or I'd like to make more progress, or whatever. And if we find it useful for your own personal use, it may also be helpful even in your coaching sessions as well, because it just helps you to zero in a little bit on where you feel things are developing and maybe where there's still room to do that. So we're just saying this to you now so that when it lands, you'll know what it is and the purpose of it. So that's really it. I think the next time we'll see you, you'll be jumping for joy on the SA campus like these guys. Any questions or anything that you'd like more clarity on while we're together?
Don't be shy.
No.
No.
It's very clear.
You're happy with what's there. So probably the next step then is just when you get a chance, later today or tomorrow or next day or two, would be to go in and access the materials. And, it can be useful to do a quick scan of them so you get a sense of the quantity and what's involved and then just organise yourself over the coming weeks so that you give yourself time to do them well and you don't sort of feel rushed or under pressure when you land over there.
Perfect.
Okay.
Anything
else, folks?
No.
No, all good.
All good.
Great.
Okay.
Great. If you're talking to any of the others, we'll run this. We are recording it, and we'll run the session again in 2 weeks' time. So on the 27th. So if people want to, we're available to do that as well. So apart from that, enjoy the next few weeks, and we look forward greatly to seeing you in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. 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 Bye.